Okay, everyone, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's Wednesday, November the 8th, Swain County Tourism Development Authority, 12 o'clock noon. Before we get started with the meeting agenda, if we would, just face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Cheryl, do you know?
Father, Lord God, we just ask for knowledge, wisdom, guidance, in all the decisions that we need to do and make. Help us, Father, Lord God, to work together for one common goal, Father, for our community and our businesses in this county, Father. And Lord, we just, we thank you for all that you have done through this board, and we ask you, Father, Lord God, that you continue to bless and to lead, guide, and direct us in everything, Father, that everything that we've committed to, Lord, will be a success and that you will bless it. Lord, be with Jeremiah as he leads this group now. We ask these things in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Any changes for the agenda? Has everyone had a chance to review that? Okay. The only thing that I'm going to suggest as far as the agenda goes, I don't think it's on here, unless you're covering it in the executive report, just kind of an update on the Christmas lights. Is that in your executive report?
Yes.
It is in there? Okay, so no need to add anything. Okay, with that being said, we've got some meeting minutes to approve, the first of which is our regular meeting from October the 12th, 2022. You do have a hard copy in your package. It's your first attachment. We also got these over email. Any questions, comments, additions, or a motion to approve?
I move we approve these
All right.
minutes for October 12th.
I second.
All right, motion by Cheryl, second by Afton. All in favor? Okay, all in favor, none opposed. All right, next we have the October 19th, 2022 special meeting. Again, copy in your package as well as the electronic copy that we've already received. Questions, comments, additions, or motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Aaron.
I second.
Second by Afton, all in favor? That's everyone, unanimous, none opposed. Thank you. Okay, Mary Ann, with that, we're moving on to you. First thing you got there is the MOU update for fly fishing.
And we don't have any public comment, is that correct? We don't. Okay, so there's no public comment. The next item on the agenda is just an update on the MOU, and 5 board members were able to attend that special Zoom meeting on October 19th, and then the week after that, I sent an email to everyone to kind of summarize what happened at that meeting. So that is outlined on this document in your packet. I added a few items that are bold. These are updates since then. If you go down to the bottom, Alan Baker confirmed to me last week that his board, that's Fly Fishing Museum in the Southern Appalachians, approved the transfer of all of the artifacts. The county attorney has advised me on next steps for Alan's board to undertake. So basically, they need to sign a resolution and a listing of specific assets being transferred. So Alan should be working on this, and I will continue to work with him on that particular step. And we're also working on a technicality because his organization is a 501c3. We're still trying to determine the receiving end of that 501c3. So I think that's something that the county manager and the county attorney are working on in order to receive those as a 501c3. So that's pretty much what's going on. I don't know if the commissioners are talking about the MOU at tomorrow's meeting. They might be. We're not sure, but I will watch that meeting and give you guys an update via email as to what transpires with that. So I know there's a lot of steps in this, but if you have any questions, let me know. Next item is the executive report.
Can I ask a quick question on that, Marion?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure.
The Historic Museum, is it a separate entity or is it just the county? In other words, those artifacts that are in the Historic Museum, does it operate as a separate entity or is it part of the county? I guess
It's a separate entity.
It is a separate entity?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. The reason I'm just wondering if we don't have a format already there to follow for this, instead of doing something different than what
Right.
has already been done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't know that it's I don't think it's a 501c3 though.
Okay,
It's not.
okay. I'm sure we're just leaving that up to the county attorney to make all that determination, but.
Right, and I know she's working with the county manager
Okay,
to receive, on how to receive those in a 501c3,
okay.
so. Any other questions on the MOU? Nope. Okay. Executive report is next in your packet. Talk a little bit about the Christmas light show, just kind of some general information before I get into the marketing. So that show launches tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. So a lot of people have been working really hard on it. Aaron's been up there, I've been up there. We've been given feedback, taking feedback, and just working out all the details to make sure it runs real smooth. So I'll be going out there tomorrow night after works just to make sure that, to see how it's going. I know they're expecting a lot of rain, I think Thursday night into Friday. So it's a rain or shine event. So I, working with Melissa Barker, and she's the one that works she works for the county, and she takes care of all the nonprofits, and she's done the schedule, and she and I talked last night, and we just think on rainy, blustery nights, it's gonna be probably very low attendance. So we're kind of expecting low attendance, possibly because of weather.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we don't really expect things to pick up a lot until we start getting to some of these weekends and holiday weekends, and I do understand the Polar Express is almost completely sold out, so it's getting a little bit more difficult for people to find tickets. So just kind of throwing that out there because we're kind of marketing a complete Christmas. This is a Christmas town, between the Polar Express and the light show and the hayride at Darnell and the ice skating rink and all the other one-time events that we have going on. There is just a lot to do here for Christmas. So it's been exciting to promote. It's been fun to promote all these things that we have for people this year. So if any of you want to go out there and you don't have a ticket, let me know. Shoot me an email or a text and I will get you a media pass, and that will help you. You can keep it for the whole season if you want to, just to check on it whenever you feel like it. I just ask that you not give that out to friends and family. So, but if you just want to go check it out yourself, or take your own family through, just see me. I didn't bring any with me, but I've got them in my office, and Rita and Selena also can get them for you if you come in on a weekend or when I'm not there. So just let me know on that. Getting into the marketing, most of the marketing has been completed. The print pieces, the newspaper ads are running. We're getting ready to launch social media and Google AdWords, and Concord Creative has been working on video and photo. They're doing an excellent job. They've been doing some preliminary videos. I don't know if you saw some of that on social media. I think I sent some of you actually I put it in the meeting notice, the one video. I put a link to it in your email. But we're expecting to have many more photo and video assets within the next week, with the show fully open, running, cars going through, and then I'll really be able to do a big push on Google AdWords and social media ads. So we're just kind of waiting on those assets.
When are those social media things supposed to start? When are you launching
Social
those?
media ads?
Those ads and then your, the other stuff you spoke about right there with your, when are those supposed to start?
Well, as soon as I get those assets, I know they're filming on Friday and Friday night, you know, because we've got a rain event coming in, so they
Right.
didn't want to film during that. So if he gets them to me Friday, his turnaround is really fast.
One day.
Yeah,
One
Josh,
day. So if he gets those to me on Saturday, I'll be starting them Saturday or Sunday. You know,
Gotcha.
it's
Are
gonna
you
be
already running things now on social media about this thing, a whole lot of stuff?
social media, but not an ad. I'm not doing an ad yet. I'm just waiting for the
Right.
really strong assets to be able to really
Okay.
push it out there with the expectation of what it is.
Now, these lights all work, they're ready to go for tomorrow night?
Mhm.
They're everything's working like it's supposed to?
Yep, and we talked, you know, you and I
We
talked
did,
on Monday,
we
and you
did.
had
That's
some
why I'm asking
concerns.
about that, because
Yeah.
I'd had some folks.
And
come
Shannon
in with some
talked to me
concerns.
about it as well,
Gotcha.
that there were some concerns, that you were
Yeah.
hearing from people that the lights weren't working, and I made some calls.
That's it, yeah, I wanna make sure those are working. I mean, it's a lot of money for something up
Yep.
there that's hanging out and,
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
asked
not
some
working.
really direct questions
right,
based on what you had.
right. That's why I was real
Mentioned to
direct
me.
when when I
Yeah.
texted you about it, because
So I was
you
like,
know, it's that's a big deal.
I had not heard those, and I went right to the source
Gotcha, yeah, and
and
I'd had.
verified that, you know, everything's working, everything's looking really, really good.
All right,
And I
I
don't know
was
if
up
you,
there on Monday, going through it, driving through it, and then working with Cabot on some other placements, and it looked, my kids loved it. They thought it was fantastic, and it was great.
I saw it
Everything
on the
is-
other night when I come home. I was like, cool, it looked like there was a few places that had some stuff out on it as I drove through, and I'm like, man, I'm hoping they're getting this fixed. And that might have been the things that I was being told about, I don't know, but I just wanna make sure everything's working. If there's
Yeah.
an obstacle that, you know, we as a board could get the obstacle out of the way and make this thing happen, I mean, my gosh, that's a lot of money.
There
So-
haven't been any obstacles. It's been an event, you know, like a typical
Sure.
first-time run event. But they've been, everything that I've continuously been working with Shadrax on, they have shown up, pulled through. They just gave us what we need, and
Good.
that's been, so I've been working with them, and Cabot's been working with them, so.
Yeah, awesome. That's what I
it's
was hoping
been-
for, because I was being told that it was
Yeah.
not, so.
How many tickets, I didn't know they were doing this pre-sale, which I think is great.
Yeah.
So my Facebook page has been kind of blowing up with different people, organizations selling them. So do we have a ticket, who's totaling that, or?
So Melissa Barker is over the ticketing with the Family Resource Center. So she's over all of the volunteers, all of the nonprofits that are handling the tickets. I don't have a count.
I don't have a count from
From
her
her.
yet.
How did that work? Are the tickets $20, but then if they sold it to you,
It's literally a paper ticket that you buy from them, and then it gives and you're paying $15 instead of 20. You're getting $5 off.
Yeah.
but is the,
Nonprofit is getting,
getting some money,
The nonprofits?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
what are they getting off each ticket?
I have no idea.
50%, God, I'd have to look at that ratio. They're getting 50%.
Of the
The
$15?
yes, and then the resource center is getting a portion,
Core's getting 20%.
and core is getting 20.
30.
Who is CORE?
What is that
What is
acronym
that?
for?
County outreach, something.
Of what?
It's called county outreach, something.
Who's on the board of that?
I have no idea.
But it's a one-time ride through, that ticket.
It's vague if you go to their webpage.
Well, that's great.
It's what?
I've heard nothing but positive.
Vague for their webpage for that?
You don't have any information.
The county manager, he's the one that suggested that that's who this goes to, right? Wonder if is he available, Chairman, for, some questions?
I can shoot him a text and see.
He's just next door, isn't he?
Yep.
If he's in, I don't.
Yeah, well, do you wanna care to drop over and see if he's coming in for questions? I'm curious about this school.
But if you guys wanna go ahead,
What's that?
if you guys wanna go ahead, Mary Ann, with your report, I'll see if he's available.
Oh, okay,
Sure.
all right. I'm just gonna keep talking about, marketing, and then we can come back.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I'm not trying to hold anything up, just had a few
No,
questions.
no, that's good. Also, I'm still talking about the Christmas Light Show marketing. So from October 1st through yesterday, we've received 13,000 page views to this light show event page on our website. So obviously the word's getting out. People are sharing, and I was really surprised by that number. It's been primarily driven by social media. The train did a post, I think it was October 18th. My post started in November, but you can see, when you see the Google Analytics report, you're gonna see a spike. When the train posted it, it went really viral. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh, we've already got our tickets for Polar Express, now we gotta do this. So people are sharing it a lot.
How do we get back in their trains rotation for additional postings? Is that something that?
That's just something between Cord, you know, me and Cord and I.
It may be
Grandchildren. No, Cord and I are communicating back and forth on that, as far as the frequency of those, so,
Okay.
it's just me shooting him text when we're ready for another one. And Cord Walls is the gentleman that replaced Sarah Presley. I don't know if you know Sarah Presley's, moved on to a, different job elsewhere, and so Cord Walls is the gentleman that has taken her place. So she's my contact person for marketing.
So in perspective, 13,000 page views compared to, what would be a comparable number that we see?
On a new webpage?
Yeah,
Oh, like 100.
Yeah,
I mean,
a couple hundred.
this is.
Yeah, just the analytics where I shared on ours that we were all doing it together, it reached over 40,000 people
Yeah,
just
Okay.
on the Facebook.
yeah,
I'm looking at it right now.
yeah,
And
I
that's
saw
not
that.
using, ads or paid or anything.
No,
it's
I
just
tagged
the
everything
reach.
together on one of my posts to say that it was hard for me to figure out like how to buy the tickets online for you guys to make for whoever gets their little whatever group. So I did a push for the ticket sales like that. So that's pretty good.
And those people are clicking through because.
Oh, they're clicking through. They're coming off one to see what all you can do right
Yes, yeah.
Well, I've got a question about the tickets and the ticket sales here, but these ticket sales, how are we be able to track those? I mean, if we've got every other kind of entity and nonprofit being able to sell those as well, how are we quantifying and tracking ticket sales? We need to be able to accurately track
Yep.
those ticket sales, and how is,
Yep.
are they using the same booking platform that all these ticket sales come from, the one platform?
Yeah, I've actually been,
So they all have like their own little link to it or something, or how does that
well,
work?
let me just back up a little bit. It's actually my next bullet point. So
Ah,
when I set up online ticket sales,
right,
on our webpage, I set it up with Square,
right,
because we work with Square at the aquarium, so we have some familiarity with it. No one at the Resource Center or the finance office has ever worked with this online sales and such, so I said, well, I'll just see it all the way through.
sure,
So we use Square terminals at the gate. So from what I'm seeing, I believe that most people will buy their ticket at the gate. There's 2 Square terminals up there that people, that the volunteers can use. I said, if you need a 3rd or 4th one, let me know. They're like $500 a piece, so they can, keep moving on down the line, keep people moving. But that will be for cash and credit card. They've got a cash drawer up there. They've got a process for all the cash to put it in a night drop at the bank and start each day with a cash box with $300 petty cash.
sure,
So the finance office is monitoring the whole cash process. Obviously, we can't, but they know once they get that cash drawer at the end of the night, one person puts it in a bag and puts it in the bank,
right,
night drop. Credit card sales are all coming through on Square.
right,
Kelly in the finance office has access to that, I have access to that. So we can see, and we can also go in there and look at prepaid sales online. There've been very few, like less than 100.
okay.
And I think most people will pay at the gate. I mean, it's unlimited, so once you buy a ticket, you can go any day, just once.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure we had a process at the gate, but once they come through, it shows that ticket's no longer valid.
Right,
So we actually have a mini iPad with QR codes and things, so just make things
Sure.
go really quick.
sure,
So whatever the nonprofits have collected in their pre-sale paper tickets, that's something that Melissa would have with the Resource Center.
so the nonprofit doesn't use that Square platform? They're
They
selling
are
paper tickets and then,
correct. But if they're working at the gate, they're using them.
Right, at the gate, but
Yeah.
it's pre-sales was my question.
Yeah.
So that's, okay, so they're not actually, so we don't really have an accurate number.
Not on those paper tickets.
Okay,
I'm not saying that we won't have one, we just don't have one yet.
gotcha.
Imagine that Melissa's giving out so many tickets that she's keeping track of. This group
Yes.
got 20 tickets, this group's got. The only question I have, and I see where you're going with this, is I would think that we would have a car counter, a clicker up there like the state uses on the road.
Something.
That way it keeps the humans honest, or our volunteers honest.
Well, I'm not so worried about that. It's just being able to say, hey, at the end of the day, we
We did.
want to get this
Count the cars
guesswork of how
coming
many
through
cars
the
we
clicker.
had through here. I mean, we
You know,
got,
the air clicker
you know,
that
ounce,
across
let's
the
say,
road counts cars, it would have been simple to throw one down and
yeah.
you'd count every car that came through.
So in
And
the
yeah, if we don't have
square,
something accurate, we can say, oh, well, we had 5,500 cars, when all in actuality, we may have had 2,000 cars.
so on the Square
And
app,
that's what I'm looking at is, you know,
on the
make sure we
Square
got it.
app, which is gonna be your
Sure,
prepaid,
that'll be-
online,
that'll be-
online, basically, there's 4 buttons on there. When I made it so easy for them, they just have to click on the vehicle type,
right.
and then they have to choose cash or credit card and
Right,
swipe
yes.
and do the whole
Yeah,
thing.
you
So
get an accurate count.
we can say, oh my gosh, we had 500 family vans, 2
Right.
limousines, 3 school buses.
Right, right,
We can see those sales.
right.
We can see anything that people bought online. The only thing we can't see is those paper tickets.
Right.
We can get the information from Melissa, but we don't literally have the data.
That's my question.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to make sure we can accurately track, the money part of it, I'm not so much worried about, is just we can accurately track what we've got, so we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Well, don't we know how many tickets we gave each organization to sell? Because I saw Julia Hunt saying something that.
I've seen these things
She
pop up.
she had a few more.
Melissa knows
She knows
that.
how many tickets she gave each organization,
The county prepared the tickets and numbered them.
okay?
And I worked with them on that because I was like, I don't think you just want a bunch of paper tickets out there that people can make copies of.
Exactly.
These have to be numbered. I have like in my desk drawer, I've got 10 complimentary passes that I just made up. They're numbered 1 through 10 because there's gonna be an occasional person that's gonna
That you
say,
need to-
maybe it's a VIP, I don't know, and I'll just say, here's a ticket. And it's gotta be signed in blue ink, you know, we're just, my biggest concern in this whole ticketing process has really just been cash. You know, you got people up there at the gate and there's, I don't wanna say too much publicly, but you know, there's gonna be cash up there and that concerns me.
Right, yeah,
You
if
know,
there's safety or
so-
something of that nature, I totally understand.
They're gonna work with aprons, you know, they're gonna work
Yeah.
with aprons, and there's always gonna be a supervisor there from the nonprofits. So that supervisor will go around and collect the cash out of their aprons. There's a petty cash box up there that you can actually, it's got like a bike lock on it. I mean, that's always been my concern. What are you gonna
Yeah.
do with all this cash at the end of the night?
Drop
Like
box.
all the people that are working up there, they're all gonna leave together. You know, nobody's gonna be left up there by
By
themselves.
themselves, yeah.
Right,
Put them in a
there's-
safe situation.
There's just a lot of details, but the
So-
cash has to be recorded on the Square
Yeah,
app.
I
So,
wasn't so much worried that, my question just was making sure we had a good count of how many people we had in there, so we know how,
Mhm.
what this event ready is doing. with the
Are pre-sales over at a certain point? They are, right?
Is it
No.
today? Oh,
Oh, they're gonna continue to
they
sell
can
throughout?
continue. People, you know, it's more of a convenience thing, and if y'all decide to do this event next year, I may not even do that part, because we're only seeing, you know, like less than 100 so far.
well, Julia Hunt put on her thing that she had to turn in unsold tickets by the 9th of November.
Well, that would be the, that's the nonprofits. That's those paper
Yeah,
tickets.
That's what I'm talking
That-
about.
that's
Oh,
over.
that's what we're talking
Is that
Oh, I'm
over?
sorry, I thought you meant the online.
Is that over?
That, from what I
The
understand,
pre-sale,
those
Is
paper
today?
tickets is today.
So can
Yeah.
we get a report from Melissa that gives us who sold what?
Yes.
And then maybe we just input, because I know we can put that into Square as long as it doesn't mess up your record keeping, even if you put them in
We
as,
can just make it another category.
you can make it a separate key and even a zero in
Right.
one if you have to, and then that way it's tracked, and we can just print out a report straight from Square that'll show us
What
the
I told
volume.
them to do at the gate, when you get those paper tickets, I said tear them in half, put one in the cash drawer, give one back to the person that handed it to you, because they can take that stub, go to Darnell Farms and get 10% off a hayride.
Okay,
So I said, do not throw those away. Just put that ticket in the cash drawer.
okay. And
the
they're, but
half.
they're not double counting that as revenue, those are prepaid, so they're just
Correct.
putting them in there just,
Just so
just
that we
because.
know,
yeah,
we have an idea.
okay. So if we, at any point in time, we could say, hey, Mary Ann, send us a report from Square on how many tickets we've
Yes.
sold, you could just hit the button.
Yeah, and I think it's
Send
gonna
a
be
report.
interesting, I think it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I'd love to share that with you
And then maybe
guys. I
next
can-
year, instead of paper tickets, you could just have a code when people go online to buy a ticket. They can choose which nonprofit they wanna have with that
Yeah.
code.
That's a good idea too.
You could just find it that way. It's
Yeah.
all one.
Be easier to track, won't be easier
Yeah,
for people
one
to do.
straight.
So those ladies that's got all them paper tickets, how to hand all that mess out, that's probably a lot for them to deal
That'd be
with.
easier.
But I think the paper ticket was kind of a good idea, because I think for those of us that have businesses, like, I think I'm gonna go buy a bunch or whatever Julia's got left and give it to maybe some of my big purchase people, you know,
Yeah.
like throw that in as a bonus.
Yeah.
Somebody books a trip with you, why don't you give them a $15 ticket to go through the light show? I mean, I think it's a
Or
great
just every-
opportunity for all of
or
us
just have
to
businesses
give good customer service.
Or
That won't happen,
nonprofits can
mine.
have a QR, the
Are
nonprofits
you
can
saying
have
the
a
cheap?
No, my margins are really tight.
Oh, I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. But I'm just, you know, but I mean, you could throw it in with a nightly rental. I like the paper ticket, I like that they did this pre-sale.
I think it's great. I was just saying, it might make it easier if we just had a QR code for what, just make it simple.
Yeah,
So you don't have to chase down Julia Hunt. She's gonna
Right.
find some.
right.
Yeah.
We know the easier way. It was just, this is the way they,
I think it's great. I
Decided to
think
do.
it's cool. I'm sad I missed it, so I should go buy it. That's a good idea, go buy the rest of her tickets.
I think next year, or if we do it again, get one of the air hoses, and when they get up there to set up to open the gate, roll the air hose out, and we count the cars that's going through. Pull it back up when they leave, that way we're not counting Cabot and the county going up checking things. Roll it out, cars go across it, we know exactly how many cars went in there.
That's it. You know exactly, you just divide that
I'll
number in half,
leave
they
the
go in, they
number.
come out.
Yeah.
That's it, give you a real good,
Yep.
real good way of doing that.
we could
Cause
do
I mean,
that.
that's, we gotta know, at the end of the day, that's one of our outs on this thing, or our safety nets, is how many cars we have to do this. If we can't accurately track that, what? I mean,
Well, you're
Doesn't make
putting,
sense.
you're putting the confidence in our volunteers.
I mean,
we
that's
all
a
make
lot of
mistakes,
money to-
but I think if we had something that just counted the cars, this just takes the question.
Aaron, do they do that at the other Shadracks?
No.
Do you get him that?
No,
Not
that,
sure
I
I
did.
asked, but,
I've been
You
to
know, it'd be
three of them,
nice
but I
if
didn't
we
pay
could-
attention to anything across the ground you drove over. You drove across
Yeah.
enough electrical cords around there, you wouldn't know the one from the other
Right.
anyway. So, it's kinda,
It'd be nice if the nonprofits could use Square in some way and just make it all digital.
had a link, I mean, you say.
Like you're
this
kind
link,
of
the other
alluding to
link,
that, and that would be probably more helpful for control.
It would be, so that way
so
we
to
know
speak.
exactly what we've got. I mean,
Yeah,
the deciding factor whether or not we continue with this thing next year or not is how many cars is going through this rascal.
mm-hmm,
Can't even track it.
Well,
It's
will we
kinda-
not count the tickets?
we do have tickets.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
count your tickets, yeah, you can count your tickets. I mean, just making sure, hoping you got somebody that lose a lot of them or, you know, spill something on.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But even if you counted the tickets, it's not gonna be correct, because if Pooh sat here and buys 10 tickets to give out to our guests, and they don't use the tickets.
Yeah, they don't use the tickets.
So they didn't go
well, we
through the
got the
gate.
money,
That's
so
true,
that's
you got the
right,
money,
They
yeah,
didn't go get to see the light show.
right.
I was just curious to how many
Yeah,
people
how many
actually
we
went
had-
to see the light show.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
No,
they sell those, what you're talking
Yeah,
about,
well,
those
I mean,
hoses are
one-
cheap. They're
Yeah.
like $200 for the
Yeah.
counter. I have one at the farm.
Yeah.
How long, can you overnight one of the said hoses?
Jeremiah, do you think we need to put a
Hey,
counter?
what do y'all think about that?
across
Let's
the-
just have her overnight
I'm
one of them hose
indifferent.
counters.
we can, I mean, I'm sure I can get one overnight.
Well, let's do that then. Let's set, what do you think, guys? Let's set one of them counters up. She can go overnight one of them hoses. After said they're pretty cheap. Just go ahead and have Mary Ann buy one of them suckers and we'll just stick her up there tomorrow night. Or we can get it
That's
up by Friday night or whatever. That way,
If it's just.
that way we've got an idea. They just roll it up at the end of the night and drag her back over the next day.
Yep.
'Cause
And that
that's-
count will probably never match up exactly
Yeah,
with
just
any
have-
No, we'll
specific
just have to
number.
reconcile.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It'll give us a ballpark.
just like the Square will give us a ballpark.
Yeah.
Some people
You
may
know.
donate to the nonprofit and don't even really care to
You
see the
don't
light
even
show.
come see the light show.
Yeah,
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. That's a great idea.
But it still lets us know how
But
many.
y'all like that idea? Just have her go ahead and do that.
You
You
just
can buy
go-
something like that us having that vote on that, can't you?
Yeah, we don't have to take
Why don't
board
you go
action
up
on
and
that.
ask Bear Wiggins to loan us one?
I don't
Why would Bear have one?
Because he's over North Carolina State DOT.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that's
Oh,
what
is
I
he?
call Barry. I was
Well,
like,
if he
he's
can get
got
it,
one.
he
That's
can
a
get
good idea.
He's over North Carolina State DOT.
I don't know him.
You don't know Barry?
I'll find out. I'll text him.
I'm sure he's probably
That's
10 of them laying
He
out
has to
on the
call me
floor.
all the time
Yeah.
for my bad girl
Hey, that might
signs on
save
the
us some
road.
money right there. That's a great idea, shit.
I'm talking, he's at the office going up too, Tom.
Oh, is he? Oh, so he's right here.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot,
I didn't know that was
even
his
better.
job.
He just got it
Oh.
5 years ago.
That's cool.
Well, I'm excited. Everybody I talk to says it's,
Yeah.
they're really excited about it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's pretty coming off of the.
They can't
4 lane.
believe, a lot of people, I don't think can believe that Bryson City's doing this, so it steps up a notch.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was
What's
looking
the-
on the Shadrach website because they have, I don't know, like 8 or 10 other shows going on. And one of the shows, because if you guys decide to do it next year, one of those shows, like the one that we have is the 12 Days of Christmas.
Oh.
The one, somebody has the one this year, the North Pole. I thought that would be a really good one for
Oh,
us.
absolutely. I didn't know there were different shows.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
every year it
there's-
rotates, so we get a new show every year.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah,
continue.
I hate that we
Yeah.
didn't do the North, yeah.
Well, I don't think
I
by
think it
the
was
time
on-
we got it, it was already.
Oh, sure, no, I'm sure. I didn't know it was different shows, so that's good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it won't be the same here as it is in
Yeah.
Exactly.
Brown or somewhere else.
Makes sense.
So we're getting quite a few clicks through from Shadrach's website, so people are going there and clicking on Bryson City, and not a huge amount, but we're getting, we're tracking a few hundred.
And I
So,
sent the videos to them so
Oh,
that
good.
they can put that on there, so that people know that that's the show
yep,
that we're getting, so they don't think it's, a different version.
I want to correct myself. Afton, that's Bear Lambert. I don't know why I said Bear Wiggins.
I knew Bear.
It's
That's
Bear
all
Lambert.
I knew. I haven't heard
Bear
Bear.
Lambert.
I just
Bear.
texted them, see if we
Yeah.
can.
Oh,
From
Bear
Cherokee?
Lambert. I know
Yeah.
Bear Lambert.
Bear
Grant's
Lambert.
brother.
I know Bear Lambert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's over in
I'll see if he
City.
can help us out. I'm also gonna
Oh, I
message
said
another
Wiggins.
one.
Yeah, I kept thinking Wiggins drives a truck, don't he?
Yeah, Lambert.
The,
Justin Deals might be able to get us one too.
hey, Christmas lights downtown, it's pretty in front of the courthouse there.
yeah, that's gonna be finished, maybe not necessarily before the polar leaves tomorrow, but we still have some more work to do, and I was gonna update you guys on that too. If you haven't been downtown,
I thought it looked great.
the 24-foot tree is
Yeah,
up.
that's cool. Yeah.
Today, they put up the 7 artificial trees with lights around that. The snowflakes, these are the new snowflakes that y'all approved. The new snowflakes are going up. They look so good.
I
Have you
love them.
seen
They
them?
look great
Oh, my
now.
gosh. It's like night and day between what we had and what we have now. They're beautiful.
Are we getting to decorate the poles now? What was that?
Yeah,
Well-
let's get to that.
Yeah, the answer's yes. I finally got the official right before this meeting. The answer's yes. And that's from the town. The town has to approve every year for us to decorate the poles that are on Everett and Depot and Mitchell. So we can decorate those poles. We have red ribbon that's going to go on them. We also have,
Tell me you got garland. Just let me stop you. We're doing garland and red ribbon, right? Not just red ribbon.
that's, this is where we're at right now.
Okay.
As long as there's no wire, we can't use any wire. That was the stipulation from the Town Board of Aldermen. We can't use any wire, and I don't know if that garland has wire or not, and it
What's wrong with
does.
wire?
Scratch the paint.
Scratch the paint.
Scratch paint on the pole?
And there's no outlets on the new poles,
Correct,
so there will be no lights
correct.
on the poles.
Now,
Would
those
tape not pull the paint off worse than wire? I mean, you
So-
stick duct tape on something, yank it off, and you see just exactly how God created that.
Well, I don't wanna see red ribbon wrapped around those poles without garland, unless you're gonna do red bows up at the top or something.
Yeah.
We need to have a meeting after this?
We should.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping it looked like a Hallmark channel down through there.
That kind of gets me down to,
Contract or something, say you can decorate them, but you're painting them next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought them to start with, didn't we? Years ago.
Yeah.
maybe
Big
the
old
original,
fancy
maybe
light
the
poles.
original.
I mean, we didn't
yeah.
buy the new light heads on them, but them old poles, the TDA bought them fancy little poles years back. Pretty dang sure of it. I mean, that's before all of us was on this board, but I'm pretty sure Aaron's dad and Dennis is the one that had that done when they changed the poles out. We got them nice looking poles now. I believe that was your dad's project, I think. But they're pretty though. I remember they done that. It was nice. I was like, dang, it's.
I'm gonna just keep going here. If you guys have any other questions, just chime in on the light show or anything on the Christmas projects, because there's multiple Christmas projects going on. We have our cookies and hot cocoa and letters to Santa. That starts tomorrow, same day as the Polar Express, runs through the end of the year. And the tree lighting event that we did last year, we're doing again this year. It's always on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So there'll be a live nativity, Christmas caroling, hot cocoa, letters to Santa, and then the town mayor will light the tree at 6 o'clock. So it's just an official, I mean, the tree's already lit, literally, but it won't be lit on that particular day, and then he'll swing the magic wand and it will light up. So that's just a neat little small town thing. Anything else on Christmas? Questions? Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. We're also working on the 2023 visitor guide, writing content, updating photos. We have additional advertisers this year. So that little visitor guide's getting a little bigger and bigger, so that's good. Expect to have that towards the end of January, so I'm saying February 1st, just to be safe. The Google Analytics reports are in your packet, and they look like this. You can see even on the first page, the very first, and this is just for the calendar month of October, but number 1 is that Christmas light show webpage. So in the month of October, there were 11,700 visits to that page. Number 2 is our homepage. So usually our homepage is the number 1 position. So you can kind of see what the difference is there. We also have another page called Christmas and Holiday. But as you start to look through here, you can see a lot of people are looking at the train, the Polar Express, places to stay. This is typically what I would expect as far as how people are going through the website. The next couple of pages are geographical data, top states. There's really no surprises here in the top states. I mean, New York is not on this, and it had been throughout the summer. So we're basically seeing pretty typical top 10 states. The next page is your top 10 cities. And I don't think there's any surprises in there either. The next page is really just in general where the traffic is coming from. So social media and organic search are kind of neck and neck there with, who's bringing in more traffic. It has been organic search, but again, since we're promoting the light show on social right now, that's where you're seeing a lot of that come in. And then the next page is just the top 10 referring sites. And again, you're going to see that's basically Facebook right now, and Instagram and Pinterest, among some others.
Man, what'd you have right here made that big bump?
That is,
that the
that's when the
lights?
train posted
For the
about the
lights?
light show. I saw that the next day and I'm like, whoa, wait.
Yeah.
And then I looked and saw that it was the train. I'm like,
That makes
yes.
sense. That's why that real high bounce rate on the,
Yep.
it being the number 1. Okay.
Yep. Public relations, your report is next from Pineapple PR. We've been hosting some Instagram influencers, so you're gonna see a little bit more data on that on at the bottom of page 1. Page 2, and I apologize that this gets really small, but you're gonna see that the bulk of page 2 is where they talked about all the different outlets and deliverables that these influencers impacted. And if you want it bigger, I'd be glad to send it to you in a bigger format. I'm just trying not to take too much ink and paper. And then, they do our Instagram. For those of you that don't know that, Pineapple does our Instagram. So they do a lot of stories and reels. They've kind of shifted their focus away from the grid, and I think everybody that uses social media probably understands that, and I do Facebook and TikTok. TikTok, very small, but when I put that light show video on TikTok, it got really, I was surprised at the interaction it got, so. A little channel like TikTok is really, it's big. It's hard for destinations to kind of make a dent in there, so I'm working on it.
I'm starting to see a lot of stuff on that, a lot of destinations, a lot of different places. There's a few that really hammered it.
Yeah,
And it's-
and I've been watching them.
It'd be good
Yep.
for, yeah,
Yep, it's gonna require more getting into the field.
little videos and stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's just the little videos. It's those short little 3-second videos. It doesn't have to be a big production in order to be impactful. And Pineapple also does our Pinterest. I don't know that if I mentioned that or not.
What do we get out of Pinterest anymore, as much, or?
Not a whole lot, but they do send a lot of links to our website.
Okay, that's
So
what's
it really goes in the order of Facebook in terms of people coming into our website.
Right.
Facebook is huge. The second one is Instagram. Not great, but it's there, and then Pinterest after that.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
if you're interested in a little demographic at the bottom of page 6, I always ask them to put a demographic in there of our social media user, and these numbers are not surprising as far as like the age of our social media, and this is for Instagram. I'm at the bottom of page 6. And they're doing some paid social, but not on Facebook. They're doing the Instagram and Pinterest paid social. Let's see, what else? Visitor reports, visitor center and aquarium report is next. Really no surprises here, nothing drastically up or down. The visitor center, I mean, we're still seeing a steady stream of people. We're not seeing any like huge dips. I don't think we're gonna see 2019 numbers of nearly 40,000 people, but I think we'll be closer to like 35,000 at the end of this year. Were you raising your hand?
No,
Okay.
stretch them on, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
And the aquarium, I mean, they had a solid October. They were 300 people over the prior year, so. Next report is your occupancy tax collection for September. Looks like this. Very happy to see that we were 1% over last year, 6% over budget. Obviously, you can look at this and you can see that, we have plateaued, basically. That's what this tells me. We're not gonna see, I expect to see some more for November and December, but I expect that we'll probably be at these levels for the rest of the fiscal year. Pretty much plateaued. And I hear from some lodging people that their business is up. I hear from others that it's down. I don't know if the Airbnbs are driving more traffic. It's really hard to know. Because I know, Andy, the hotels are kind of, yeah. So, yeah. Let's see, bonuses is the next item, and this is something every year I just have to ask for your approval. The county approved, these are employee Christmas bonuses, 300 for full-time employees and 100 for part-time, and I just need your approval for those to go through with the rest of the county. It's just more or less a formality.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Acton to approve,
A second.
second by Pooh, all in favor?
Thank you.
Unanimous.
On November 1st, Shannon helped us out. He presented a check to the Swain High School women's track team for their rings.
How much?
So it should be in the newspaper tomorrow. I don't think it was in last week. It should be in tomorrow.
Now we have to do another one because they just want to stay
How
together.
about
Yeah.
SLA?
And they were a good chance, a shoe in for that, to win that again, but because the same kids were still there.
Yeah.
But I asked the question that you brought up about, not all the money going to football. So when the director was there, I questioned him because I had a comment when I was talking to the track coach at the football game about this. I had a comment to me when I was coming around the backside of the field. I won't say who it was, said, you know, why didn't you guys donate to the quarterback club?
I didn't know we had
No,
one.
he said you donated to the wrong organization. That's what he said. And I said, which organization would have been the right one? And he said, the quarterback club. So when I had the AD standing in front of me at the park to present this check, I questioned him about how their funds go from, you know, car washes, the 50-50 raffle, the football games and all that. And he said, Shannon, we still had, and I think you were standing there, they still had an overrun of money from last year. It was like 9,000, I think is what he said, from last year. He said, but all the money that comes in from car washes, donations, quarterbacks club, 50-50 raffle, it goes all into the same pot, and they spend it to what is needed first.
Yeah.
So it don't matter if we donated to the quarterbacks club or if we donated to the track team, which this was going for the track team, because they needed the money for the rings. They didn't have enough money to buy the rings. It still goes into the same fund and distributed, which is needed more.
So they could still.
So it could still flow into football, but I think that honestly, we're gonna have to, you have to put trust in our Board of Education that they're doing what's right. I see that we've got some new people on the Board of Education now, and I think it's a great thing. But I did ask him that question because I was concerned that, you know, even though we cut checks and, you know, you may come to us soon again and ask for some more to help for these girls. And it's not just girls, it's girls and boys.
Yeah.
Track team. It's co-ed track team. They just won state again, which
Yeah,
is great.
that's cool.
It's great for our school. If that money's gonna go to the high school football. And it goes into the same fund.
Well, I was
So it
told
can be
that you had to, like, if I wanted to write a check for my business,
Straight to one, it still
To
goes to the
them.
same fund.
and they said that it was going in the same fund, but that I could put for the use of the girls' track,
But
for
it's
the,
still gonna be up to the
It's
Board of
still-
Education
for them
and
to,
AD.
yeah,
where
use,
it's-
yeah, to allocate it.
So
Yeah.
what
The
what
AD.
TDA did, will that potentially cover all of the rings if they use it
Yes.
for that?
What, how much did we
Sounds
write?
like they already had the
Yeah,
money.
and
for
they
it,
were
didn't want to
over the
spend it.
top grateful, I mean, it
We gave them
was-
$5,000? Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad you saw that done. I hope it
But
gets.
they had money coming in from, like the diner had raised over $1,000 for them.
They did, and he said he told us a number, and I don't remember, do you?
I don't remember.
That they had a lot other donations
Yeah.
come in for the rings, so even if, you know, the 5,000, it could go toward their next set of rings
Yeah.
that they just won.
Well, we just gotta keep our ears peeled, and the girl, they'll talk if they're told that they don't have enough money for the
Well, sure,
rings, and then
they'll
we
be on
just
the
have to go
Smoky
back up
Mountain
there.
Times. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They'll be in the Smoky Mountain Times complaining because they're not getting the rings.
Exactly.
So, I truly believe in my heart that we've got some good people coming in the Board of Education and
Yeah.
had
Me
good
too.
people.
Definitely.
And had good people, so I think that, you know, it's their discretion how it's spent, obviously, but I'm sure that, you know, they're gonna spend it to what's needed first, priority. But yes, it could go to fund a football helmet, but not helmets, equipment and stuff was a different fund, he told me.
Yeah, it's a different one.
He told me it's a totally different fund, and that's money that's already there, allotted through the
Yeah.
county. This fund is for things like
Extras and things.
events and things that if they have to travel and
Right.
things like
Right.
that.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Well, thanks for doing that.
Next page, real quick. I just wanted to give you guys an update on the Kids Zone updates, the new digital exhibits, and you guys approved that a few months ago, and it's been under development. But those are completed. We had our last meeting, work out some of the final details. Obviously, that was a Zoom meeting. So they're gonna deliver those later this month, and just in case you don't remember, the 3 new digital exhibits, the 3D animation of the flooding, and the flooding of the Little Tennessee, and flooding of the towns, and the construction of Fontana Dam, which then kind of takes them to today, where, you know, it's basically to create awareness of, you know, Fontana Lake is great, but did you know the story? There's a story behind it about people's lives and what they gave up. So that's the bulk of the story. There's a digital animation that goes along with the story. So that's probably been the most time-consuming one to get that exactly correct. You know, get all the details right on that. And that's really for all ages, even though it's in the kids zone. It's for anybody who wants to understand more about, you know, the Swain County citizens and what happened in the 1940s leading up to today. The other exhibit is mainly for young children. It's a native animal and forest sounds display, and they push buttons and the animals make a noise. So it's really for the littles. It'll be low on the ground. And then we have a Nantahala River kayak race digital game. Really, it's not anything complicated. It's just a simple game that anybody could play if they really wanted to. So those will be up later this month, and as soon as they're up and running, we'll, you know, get a story on those improvements. Beautification committee, we haven't had a meeting lately. It sounds like we're gonna have a meeting here in a couple of minutes and talk about the light poles. Probably January, we'll start talking about the flowers again. Nothing new on the other committees, but I did want to mention here one thing with, it's indirectly financed, but we have one invoice from the fly fishing museum construction. When y'all voted to halt the payment of invoices towards the fly fishing museum, Rita's been monitoring any invoices, what their due dates are. We have one that's due tomorrow that I'd really like to pay because it's, I don't want to, you know, get, with particular vendors, if, you know, obviously if you don't pay your bills, you're not going to be able to get them to come back to work. So this is for, it's to Southern Concrete, and it's for $2,800. So it's primarily for rebar for the footers and the concrete for the footers. It's due tomorrow, so just wanted to kind of get your feedback on that. I'd like to pay it, but you guys voted not to pay any, but I'd like to pay this one if you guys can just make a motion to do that. Or I can hold it, but.
So you're saying that has been done
It's
or
been
delivered?
It's done.
or
Oh, I'm
ordered?
sorry, it's
That's-
done.
that's
It's
okay,
completed.
Oh,
They've done the work.
I personally think that if work has been done and completed and that can't be taken back, I think we should pay for
Yeah,
it. It's
that's-
done, I mean,
I
it's not
agree
gonna
with
be
that.
removed in any way.
Yeah.
you can't punish them.
I just wanted to get y'all's feedback on that.
Has
I
Ken-
talked to Shannon about it, and he
Has the
reminded.
county manager weighed in on that at all, as far as, should we pay that? I guess
No.
what I'm getting at is, I mean, could the county not pay that, and then, under good faith of our discussions
We
with
pay it back.
MOU, then we just pay it back to the county?
I mean, I can ask. I haven't asked that.
I would
It
suggest
just-
that as alternative one, given that we've already taken the vote. Alternative two, I wouldn't prohibit us from necessarily paying that bill, and we can make a motion if everyone agrees with that. I think that's our alternative, but given that the board's already decided that,
Right.
I mean, I guess if we set precedents and we pay this bill, next thing you know, we've got a $50,000
I know.
material bill,
I
of
know.
materials delivered to site, and then do we not pay that one, or do we?
Right. I mean,
It was-
So-
it
we're
was
hoping that a lot of this
recommended-
gets resolved
It
tomorrow.
was recommended to me through conversation from Commissioner that we hold off on paying anything until their meeting, which is tomorrow. Till we get this MOU, and I've seen a rough draft of it. It's in our favor. May or may not pass, I don't know until that happens tomorrow, but I think it's looking at like a 10-year deal with 10 years option, additional 10-year option, which is great. But it was recommended from the commissioner to me and this is just us, not to pay anything until we get the MOU. That's our bargaining chip, for this building. Yes, I do agree that if somebody's done the work, they need to be paid, but I think that falls in the laps of the county. It's still their building. It's not ours yet.
That's right.
And we need to think about that. It's still not our building yet.
That's right. It's not our
Until
building.
tomorrow, until they vote on this, if they do or don't. So I do agree with Jeremiah on the county can, and I wanna pay it, you know,
I
I'm
know
saying
you-
that to you,
yeah.
I do wanna pay it, but, because I think we're gonna get the building, and I hope we do. But you don't ever know,
That's
what's
it.
going on and what's behind the doors and what we don't know, but I think that as right now, it's still a county building, so the county needs to pay that bill, and then we'll reimburse them, and we'll be all for reimbursing them, I'm sure the board will, because we want the building.
Right. I think that's
And I
the
think,
route that we should go right there.
Okay.
I think you made Jeremiah made a good argument with that.
We'll just check on that. I don't think, I mean, you guys can vote if you want to, but we can kind of take it from here and
Well,
go to,
if you were to pay it, you would need a board vote to
Yes.
do that.
Yep.
If you're
yeah,
not going to.
that's true.
If you're not going to pay it, then you don't need a board
Right,
vote to not pay it.
right.
I don't think it's gonna make or break us one day. Let's hear it out. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're a day late on a payment, we can call Smoky Mountain Concrete or Southern Concrete and say, I'm sorry, but, this is the way it is.
Yep.
I mean, it shouldn't fall in our lap. I mean, this
Right.
is not our problem.
Yep.
Yeah, not
We
yet.
presented the MOU weeks ago. I mean, we could have already had an answer to this
Yeah.
years ago, sorry.
Right.
Years ago, we
Yeah.
presented this MOU. This shouldn't even be an issue,
Right.
and it shouldn't be our problem.
That's right. It's not our building yet.
No.
Do we have any motions?
Motion to table it,
I'll motion it.
No, we don't need a motion.
I was gonna
if
say,
we're
do
just
we
gonna
need
wait.
one?
I
If we
mean,
need one,
No,
I'll
if
make it. I don't
if we
care.
decide to pay it now, if you guys wanna pay it now, if the board wants to pay it now, then we just need a motion to do that. If there's no motion, then I think we can move on.
That's fine. Yeah, we'll work with that.
Okay.
It's the end of the executive report. The next item on the agenda is the financial report. So this is your typical report. This is for the month of October. So you have your financial statement compared to budget, the first 2 pages. And really, all those expenses are broken down either by posted journal entries, or the credit card statement, or the bank statement. So that's all the backup. So, of course, I look at this in comparison to budget to make sure that, we're staying within budget. But there's also a bank statement here in case you want to look over that. Basically, at the end of October, we had about $626,000 in the bank. See what's next on the agenda. The next item on the agenda, I'm going to actually take 4A and 4C and combine them because I have this sheet in your packet. Just talk about some upcoming meeting dates and make sure that we're all on the same page with these. We have a meeting December 14th. That's a regular, second Wednesday of the month. I'm not recommending that you change that. January 11th. Now, last year, we canceled the January meeting simply because there just weren't enough people in town. I think a lot of people had taken off after the holidays or closed their business, and it just seemed like a lot of people weren't going to make it. You don't have to make that decision today, but that's unless there's something hot that we're working on, like MOU or anything that you guys, you still want to have that meeting, we can do that. But I just want to let you know, generally, our January meetings have been canceled because there weren't enough people in town.
The first 15 days is kind of hard because I know we got trade shows.
Yeah,
So,
and that happened last year.
yeah.
yeah.
And they're the big ones.
So, I mean, you guys can let me know next month, but I just want to also remind you that February is typically our retreat. That's 3 to 4 hours. that is another reason to cancel the January meeting, because you got a bigger time slot to fill in February. Your February meeting is scheduled for February 8th, so I wanted you all to look at your calendars and just want to make sure that we can get as many of you there. This is where we talk about budgeting, goals, because I'll be starting the budget in February. So this is where we talk about strategic goals and what we want to do in the new year, new fiscal year, and what we want to budget for. So I just want to get your feedback and make sure everybody check their calendars and you're going to be around on February 8th. And if so, that would be a 10 a.m. to probably 2 p.m. time slot instead of 12 to 2. So just want to get that one out there. Does anybody know that they're not going to be here then? Or is,
I gotta check mine. I haven't looked at my dates for the new year yet.
and then in April, we're definitely going to have to change that one because it's during spring break. So our April 12th meeting would move 1 week from that to the 19th. So that one I'm just going to recommend that you do so that we have a quorum for the meeting.
The retreat, where is it gonna be this time?
I think we'll probably still do what we did last year if we can. I wanted to talk to y'all first before, Rita starts making calls to see what we can get, but it's close to downtown. Did you have any recommendations?
Didn't we do it
We did
up
it
here?
at Lands Creek one time, we did it
Mhm.
here,
Did y'all like it up on the hill?
I thought it was
up on
fine.
the hillside.
Yeah, I liked it up on the hill.
Okay.
It's convenient.
It was.
Would it be an option for people to possibly do like the last week of January? Because I know to do that meeting,
I think that's okay.
and then we free up our February because there's just so much. Like
This is
New
why we're
Year,
discussing,
yeah.
this is why we're
Would that be it?
discussing it.
Yeah, I'll be gone the 8th. The last one will be better for me too.
The
Yeah.
last week in
I
January.
wish we could look at the dates of the last week of
I have 2
January and
conferences, the
free up our
4th,
February.
11th, and I'm going on vacation the 18th.
Hey, what would that January one be?
Like the 25th, maybe?
Yeah.
Do the retreat then?
Yeah, let's just do, we can all check, but like January 25th, is that a Wednesday?
Yep.
Is that what it is, a Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, I'll be here for that. I'm pretty sure I've got an engagement there at the end of the month right there. I've got it.
January 25th, yes, January 25th would be the last Wednesday.
Yeah, 25th, that's that Wednesday?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be all right.
you'll be here. Is anybody not able to make January 25th?
I'll have to look at my calendar, but I don't think.
So in that case, would you want to cancel the January and the February meetings and just
Yeah.
have the retreat at the end of
That'd
January?
be great.
Does anybody have an issue with that?
What's that, canceling January altogether?
Cancel, well, because you'd be meeting on January 25th for 4 hours.
Yeah, cancel that 11th one.
So
So combine two.
So
We're gonna
cancel
combine
January
to give ourselves a
11
break, yeah.
and cancel February 8th and just make the retreat on the 25th.
Yeah. Sounds like
Is everybody okay with that? You really don't need to vote on that. I'll get the notices out,
Yeah,
but,
And then we can all go back and double check our personal calendars, but
yeah. And then, like I said, the April meeting will be on the 19th, not the 12th, because of spring break. 4B is really just a quick update on the EV charging station. So we have a vendor, CIC Technologies. Communication on their end has been extremely slow, but I finally got a quote. I reviewed it, I had Shannon look at it over my shoulder, and I went ahead and signed the quote. Sent it back, I'm still waiting, and I keep emailing. It's kind of been a slow process.
is that, are we talking about CIC in Cherokee
Mhm.
with John?
Yes.
And I continue to remind.
What do you need?
I just want a
I just had
timeline.
lunch
Just
with
want a
him.
timeline.
I just bought his lunch
The
yesterday.
quote needs to
We'll
be,
get on it.
I've already signed the quote, I need it signed and returned, but primarily I'm looking for a timeline, so we can get this done.
What are we needing them for?
We need,
Oh, the low voltage?
yeah,
Oh, but they're the only ones around that does that?
There was an outfit of silver, but they're buying now, we're kind of bent over a barrel here.
Got you.
honestly, I thought the bid was a little bit high, but I told Mary Ann, I think the board's willing to pay a little bit high if he'll get on the
If you
job
get on
and get
with
it
it,
done.
yeah.
We
But
signed
if
the
he's gonna
warrant.
drag his feet, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, might as well look for
might as well
somebody
get
else.
another estimate.
Yeah, it might as well, I mean, if that's,
Sometimes it pays to pay a little extra to get the job done immediately, but
you already get it done at
Seems to
some
be
point.
giving them
instead
the
of-
runaround.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, I mean, he won't even respond back to your emails?
We need
It
him to,
took-
what do we need? We need him to, the low hold, we need him to get on it, is that what?
We need
Well,
the
we need
quote
contract.
signed and returned, and we need a timeline.
Okay.
How long has it been since you got a response from the time you've sent?
It
Initial
took me
comment?
about 2 weeks to get the quote. I sent the quote back, didn't hear anything, sent an email asking for the signed quote and a timeline. Sent another email this morning asking
What's the timeline between when you sent the one to you sent the one response?
about a week.
He'll know, contractor,
Okay.
he'll know.
Ah, hell, if you got somebody else, I'd be looking to,
Right.
Me and Jeremiah talked to him months ago.
We don't, it's been so
Man, it-
frustrating.
Eugene, this has been months. Me and Jeremiah started
that's
a
what I was wondering,
conversation.
I thought them things were working over
months
there.
ago.
Golly, no.
And he actually told us he'd be down the next week to get on it. He told Brian Lowe he'd be down the next week to get on it. Then it went for a long time and we couldn't get a hold of him and no one got a hold of him. And then finally he pops up and wants the address.
Gee willikers.
So, that was the holdup, the address.
We got somebody leaning on him pretty hard right now,
Yeah.
so it'll be-
Yeah, we gotta get him before he goes hunting.
Yeah.
He's out to go to,
You got him right there, too.
we'll see, I better
Kind
have
of
him.
the only gig in
I'm gonna ask for my
town.
money back from yesterday's lunch. I bought him.
You go.
He's at the trade show. So I'll let you know what he says.
I gotta get to that thing tomorrow.
The only other item on the agenda, Jeremiah, is the strawberry jam race, because I know there was a meeting,
Mhm.
and Rita was at that meeting with you, and I know you wanted to update the board on that.
Yeah, so we'll be searching for approval to go ahead and move forward with that event sponsorship this year, right? Greg was in town last week, we met. Just a reminder, the first year was a pretty good success for us. I think we had around 300-ish participants, right?
Not quite.
Between both events.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, between both events. A lot of feedback about the site it was fantastic. He did want to start next year's event just a little bit early, which Afton and I talked about that briefly. So I think we've got the site confirmed for the event. It'll be the weekend before Memorial Day, coinciding with the Strawberry Jam Festival again, right?
Yes.
Okay. Really unchanged from last year. He has seen an uptick in race participation this year on some of his early events. He just did the 5K out on the airport in Asheville that they do, and it hit some 2, 3, 4 year post-COVID highs. So he's optimistic about participation. We've set some early targets around 500 runners would be our goal for next year. Again, trying to grow this event so it'll be over 1,000 runners within 4 to 5 years. So with that being said, I can't remember the cost of his contract. What is it? $7,500 for the sponsorship, and everything else is pretty much sustained via race entry fees. And I wish I'd done a little bit of math, because I could probably tell you that, at 500 entrants, assuming we get that many, then this event will be essentially a free event or even cash flow positive with that many people, including the cost of his sponsorship. So, that would be the goal eventually, and maybe even sign up some type of nonprofit or other organization to benefit from the event. We don't have that established this year, but that's not to say we can't do that at a later date. While I'm thinking about that, we do have the volunteer hours from the cross-country team as a result of our sponsorship, which is 330 hours amongst all team members, that I thought it would be good to go ahead and tell them to allocate all that to this event, given it's it's a running event, and that's a cross-country team, so it's a good
Yeah.
fit for them. I think that's about it. Does anybody have any questions about that event?
How much does that cost for us to do that thing again this year?
Our sponsorship will be $7,500, and that pays for the race director fees. Everything after that is primarily variably costed based upon the number of people that sign up, and everybody that signs up will then be, it's cash flow positive at that point. Everyone's at least paying, they pay for their T-shirt, they pay for their food, et cetera, et cetera. And,
Everybody was so nice, too. All those racers were really good.
yeah.
Yeah, good
One,
crowd.
one thing that they've mentioned that everyone consistently mentioned was the venue was great.
Yeah, they were really cool. They had, well, hung out with us at the event and stayed for the festival.
Yeah,
Good fun.
yeah. And yeah, I think you timed an elk coming over at the start of the race, so.
It did. I had
Yeah.
to time, I timed it myself because me and him made eye contact. Please don't, not today.
So the feedback about the venue, and I've done a lot of these things, and, that morning of the event was really good for the participants, and the food was great, the strawberries were great. It just had a lot of positives going for it. So I think it'll end up being one of the larger events in western North Carolina eventually, if we stick with it.
The medals were really
Following
good.
reply.
Oh, yes.
He says that cannot give you a timeline until the equipment gets here.
Okay.
And I just said, can you double check that the equipment has been ordered? He hasn't replied.
Thank you.
So with that being said, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the sponsorship for the 2023 Strawberry Jam Race, $7,500.
And it is in the budget.
And it is
FYI.
in the budget.
That's the same price it was last year.
Yes.
Mhm.
One second.
Second by Aaron, all in favor? None opposed. Thank you. Last thing, any other board discussion? I think that concludes the agenda. Anything else?
Did you ever get a hold of the county manager there for
He
questions?
is, yes, unavailable.
I figured.
Yeah. He's getting a flu test.
A manicure?
That's what I thought he was getting ready
Is that what you- no, is
I
that
didn't
what
want
you
to
said? I thought
disclose
you
that.
said
He's
manicure.
getting a flu test, so it sounds like he's sick.
Oh. Okay.
We were talking about the flu before you got here, how it's going around here.
Oh, we had it, it was awful.
Yeah.
We're good now.
But I'll let him know, maybe at our next meeting on December the 14th. I know it's late in the game, that we can perhaps have him attend and answer some questions if that
I was just curious about that, I had some questions for him for some stuff there.
Sure.
Is that not true?
Even if that's true. we've
Okay.
been in contact
Anything else? Just need
Oh,
a
okay.
motion to adjourn otherwise.
Let's go home. Motion adjourned.
All right, motion by Aaron,
No, I know.
second by Andy. All in favor? There we go. It's unanimous, none opposed. Thank you, guys.
And there is food if you guys want to take something with you. There's lunch.
Down Friday,